Hey friends, it's Mrs. Wittmann. So this week I'm going to be doing some videos for summer school, and what we're going to be talking about is how you can incorporate science and math into everyday life and make it fun. So we're going to be talking about some things later on in the week. We'll be talking about our own personal health and safety, which is actually also part of being healthy and science. But this week, for a few lessons, I'm going to be talking to you about dough. Now, you might think that dough is like a baby thing, right? Like now she teaches preschool, so she's like into like little kid things. But dough is not. And there are lots of things that come from making different types of dough that are therapeutic. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about. There's lots of reasons to make dough, to make all different kinds of dough. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to start with salt dough, which I will give the recipe and walk you through it. And we'll do some things with that when I get to the kitchen. But for right now, I'm going to take you through the benefits of dough, of why we use we can make our own Play-Doh, and why that is a healthy thing for children of all ages and adults. I will tell you, this has like really gotten me through, right? We're all cooped up. We're in this pandemic and we had to be in the house, and we had that lockdown order, and you're trying to do school online, and there's all of these crazy things. But doing things that are just therapeutic and make you happy and work on your wellness are so important. So these are the reasons why you make dough. Why is dough educational, right? So it actually is educational. It's not just for total fun. It is fun, but it's not just for total fun. There are actual reasons why teachers and OT and we encourage dough. One is for measurement skills. Okay, don't even pretend that you all did not get your assignment when you are adding and subtracting fractions. I taught 5th grade for a really long time. And adding and subtracting fractions is an abstract, crazy thought. You know what's the easiest way to figure out how to do that? Measurement. How to measure the ingredients that go into things. So for example, today we're going to make salt dough. And salt dough is 1 cup, half cup. That's the recipe. So, but if I didn't want to make a whole recipe, how would I cut the fractions down to fit into 1 cup, right? I could do like 1/2. I could do 4/4. So think about that, and we are going to talk about that when we're in the kitchen. Okay, so measurement is a really important skill that you can get out of making anything, any recipe at all. That's why cooking, science in the kitchen is super important, endlessly important. Fine motor skills. So you might think because you're older and you already know how to write your name, or you already know how to write, that you don't need fine motor skills, but that is not true. There are lots of important reasons why you should strengthen all the muscles in your hands. And for writing is definitely one of them. Educationally, that's what we are usually thinking about. But there are lots of other things like shooting a bow and arrow that require fine motor skills, and they require you, or working on things electronically. You know, when you're trying to put something together and those screws are this big, your fine motor skills are vital. So it's important for you to work on that of any age, at any age. When you get to be my age, then you start to get arthritis in your fingers. So working on dough is therapy for that. It's like physical therapy. Encourages creativity. Okay, here's another thing that is just for the whole wellness of yourself. Being creative and allowing art to take you to another place and to calm your mind and to use all of the ideas and things that you have in your head and put them down in some way, shape, or form is so important. So the dough that we're going to make today is salt dough. So there's a couple ways that you can be creative with your salt dough. One way is that you can just bake it as it is and paint it, or put impressions in it and paint it. Also very creative. You can just, and then bake it, and then it will harden. The other way you can be really creative with salt dough is it hardens pretty hard, almost like magic dough. So you can create sculptures with it or pottery and bake it and paint it, and it will look like a bowl, or it will look like whatever statue. You're probably way more creative than me. And you'll see when we go to the kitchen, I'm not that creative. But I still like to do it because I think that art is how you express yourself. Art is how you allow your feelings to be the feelings that you want. So art is one of those things that I think is vital to humans in general. So making dough is also, like, to make creative projects out of dough is one of those things that's so good for your soul. Relaxation and self-soothing. Okay, little known fact. Rolling dough in your hands is just as soothing as almost like a massage. So you are rolling the dough and you are touching all of the nerves in your hand. And if you are doing it in a calm fashion, then your nerves will calm. It is a self-soothing relaxation technique. So you can use any kind of dough to do that. Obviously, that's why adults like to join in when you're playing Play-Doh. Yeah, you know that happens. Or when you're an older kid and you see a little kid playing Play-Doh, you know you jump in. And it's because it is soothing. That squishing, rhythmic motion is soothing and relaxing to you. So, dough, super important. Feeling of accomplishment. Do not tell me it is not super exciting when you bake a cake and that cake comes out and it's beautiful, right? Or you're making bread. All these people made bread. I did not make bread, but all these people made bread while we were off. But it's a feeling of accomplishment. Like you'll get that pile of dough and you'll keep mixing and you'll kneading, and then it'll turn into something and you'll be like, wow, that is awesome. And the number one reason why you do it, it's fun. It's fun. And mixing things together and having it turn into something else is science. That's chemistry, kids. So science in the kitchen. Oh, that's probably something in my kitchen that is falling down. So I will get back to you from the kitchen. All right, see you later. Hey boys and girls, I'm back. I'm in the kitchen this time. Here is our salt dough recipe. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to talk to you too about some other kinds of doughs that we might make later on in the week. And when the materials that you need to gather to make these kitchen fun doughs. So number one is flour. Simple, easy, and expensive. You can make a few different kinds of doughs with flour. Number two, salt. Yeah, so this is the salt dough, obviously, so that's going to be an important one for today. This is crema tartare, so we are going to use this later on for a different kind of Play-Doh. This actually makes it a little creamier. This is a really good one when you're working for fine motor skills. And this is cornstarch. Cornstarch is one of the we call them the magic ingredients in pre-K. You can make almost anything in preschool. Not that you're making preschool dough, you're making, very grown up elementary dough. But if you can have these magic ingredients, you can make almost anything out of cornstarch, baby oil, hair conditioner. You would be shocked at the amount of things that you can combine and make different kinds of craft materials, things for art, things for sculpting. All of it's about wellness though, right? All of it's about your own self-help and how to be soothing, how to do things for yourself to help you feel better. So today we're gonna make salt dough. And remember, we talked about the important things for why we make dough. One of them is measurement. So we are absolutely going to, hold on, let me get another bowl. Super fun star bowl, because I am going to show you how to make stars out of your dough. So we're going to take 1 cup of flour. So I took the flour and I actually just poured it in this bowl, so it's really easy to mix. 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of salt, and then 1/2 cup of water. So let's talk about these cups and the measurements. So 1 cup looks like this. On my little strand here, I have 1/4 of a cup. So if you did 4 of these, it would fit into 1 cup. And then this one is a half. So if you did 2 of these, it would fit into 1 cup. So let's do a little experiment here. What would I have to add to cut this recipe in half? So the recipe says 1 cup salt, 1 cup flour, 1/2 cup water. How would I cut it in half? Oh, very good. So we would do a 1/2 cup of salt, a 1/2 cup of flour, and a 1/4 cup, because here's the other one, a 1/4 cup, 2 of these fits into a half, right? So 2 of these fits into a half, 2 of the halves fits into a whole. So see, if you start playing with these measurements, you will see how that works and how they all fit into each other. So then it's not just crazy to think to yourself 1/4 plus 1/4 equals 1/2. So you would get it, because you could actually take the salt or the flour and take 1/4 cup and put it into your 1/2 cup. Let's actually do that. I'm gonna take 1/4 cup. Looks like that. And we're gonna put it into our 1/2 cup. Over top of my bowl. And I'm gonna push it down. And then you're gonna see that it actually almost fills up halfway. So then we're gonna do it again. We're gonna take another 1/4 cup. And we're gonna put it into our 1/2 cup, squish it down, and then pour it into our bowl. So now we have a 1/2 cup of flour in here. So if I did a 1/2 cup of flour, I have to make the measurements match, correct? So I'm gonna take a 1/2 cup of salt. Then, how much water am I gonna do? Can you figure that out? So if I had a 1/2 cup, I had a 1/2 cup, I need to cut that in half. How do I cut that measurement in half? Do you remember? Come on, subtract those fractions. What is? And then we're gonna do 1/4 water. Hold on 1 second. Let me run under the sink. Still with you. Okay. And then I'm gonna go wash my hands really good so that I can mix the dough. And then we're gonna talk about that. Okay, I'm back. So we have our measurements in here already. I'm just gonna mix it up with my hands, and you'll be able to see that the dough will come together pretty easily. This feels a little bit wet to me. So, well, that's just maybe because I was in a hurry, but feels a little bit wet to me. So what I might do, well, let me see if we're mixing up. But if I wanted to dry it out a little bit, I would just literally just put in a little more flour, and it would kind of take away that super moist feel of the dough. But maybe if I get all the rest of this flour in here, we'll be able to feel it. There we go. So again, with the fine motor skills and strengthening your hands for all different reasons, it feels, first of all, this feels nice and coarse. So that's one thing somebody put on social media the other day, like, how do you relax? This is actually a good one. This is why people bake when they're really, really stressed. People also garden when they're really stressed, because actually getting your hands in the dirt is another thing that feels really good for your senses. So now we have dough, which looks like this. So if you have a rolling pin on some cookie cutters, you can make some really super cool ornaments. The salt dough, if you want to make ornaments or you want to use it almost as a paint palette, you need to bake it. So you need to bake it at 200 degrees. So you're going to slow bake it for about 30 minutes for even something that's very small. So let me show you my sample. So this is the one that I did earlier. See, now it's hard. Listen, it's really hard because I already baked it. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna show you that you can make really super cool things from these. So these are, the salt dough is also what you would use if you wanted to do hand prints. So we did dog prints for my, yes, because I'm in love with my dog, very much so. Actually, I'm in love with all of my dogs. I have 3, but I very much like my dogs. But we did dog prints for Mother's Day. We did dog print ornaments, but you would flatten it out completely. Now, if you have a rolling pin, great. I didn't use a rolling pin because honestly, my rolling pin is at school. And the truth of the matter is, I wanted to show you that you can do this no matter what. So then all you would do is flatten it completely and make it big enough so that your hand could fit on it and press your hand into it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it a little thinner. So I'm just gonna keep pressing so that I can use cookie cutters to show you what to do next. Now, to get this, now notice that I did not put a hole in it, but if you wanted to use it for Christmas ornaments, before you bake it, you would punch a hole in it right here, and then you could actually just put string or hook or something to make ornaments out of it. But I left it like this because I'm actually gonna just paint it and use it like next to the stuff in my bathroom as like a knick-knack. So I'm gonna write on it, but you can use it as Christmas ornaments. These are really, really fabulous Christmas tree ornaments. And they almost always turn out beautifully, even when you can do it with younger kids. So I'm gonna flatten this out completely. If it feels a little wet or it's really sticky, mine is not, but if it feels a little wet and it's sticking, like I said, you can just put flour down or cornstarch down and it will kind of dry it out a little bit. Same thing in reverse. So if you started mixing your dough and it felt really, really dry, then you would just trickle water in there so that it would be the right consistency. I am the queen of salt dough, so I make it all the time. So that's why I can feel but you would have to like play around with yours. So now all I'm gonna do is take the cookie cutter, cut out my shapes, lay them on my tray, and bake them. Okay, couple things. If you wanted to write on them, you can write on them before you bake them, but I recommend doing painting or doing whatever you want to do after you bake them. Because if you bake them, or if you write on them, sometimes the marker will bleed or the paint will run and kind of bake in weird directions. Just kind of like when you decorate cookies. Yeah, sometimes the cookie looks a little strange. So that's my recommendation for these. Now, they turn out beautifully. They're really, really fun. But more importantly, now that you have all of this dough, I want you to think about all of the really important educational things that dough is for, okay? So I will show you tomorrow some different kinds of dough. I'm gonna show you a couple of the doughs that you can make with our magic ingredients. Like I said before, again, we're going to add and subtract fractions so that you understand, and measurement as well. So 1 cup, adding and subtracting fractions is what we do, but in cup measurements. Tomorrow, I probably will show you how to use measuring spoons to do the same thing. Have a wonderful night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Okay, talking about things that make me happy. So definitely my dogs make me happy. We talked about that. I have them with me all the time. Yeah. The other things that make me happy, food. I hate to admit it, but I love food. So like if I'm in a really bad mood, having ice cream for dinner, yeah, that's the best. I love some ice cream sundae for dinner. It's not always the healthiest. I do like a lot of healthy foods. Like I love avocado. I love avocado. I would eat avocado toast for every single meal of the day if I could. I adore it. What else makes me happy? Or things that I use when I close my eyes to think about, mind up, what I'm gonna do next. I love dancing. My nieces dance. So my younger niece just got into temple and she's gonna dance for the temple dance team. I'm so excited about that. Yeah, she's a really amazing dancer. Both of them are. My older niece dances for the University of Delaware. There's 2-time national champions. Super proud of her as well. And we usually go and watch them dance. But I also love, I love Dancing with the Stars, and I love America's Got Talent. I love, talent TV. Yeah, what kind of TV do you guys like? What do you usually watch? I usually don't watch. I watch, Netflix and stuff, but I don't really watch, TV programs except for, talent things. I do like those. What else makes me happy? Music. I love music, and I'm one of those weird people that loves all kinds of music, and I do mean all kinds of music. I love old hip hop, and my parents used to listen to old Motown music, like the Temptations. I love it. I can identify way more songs than most people. I love classical music, if I'm in the car and I'm trying to really relax. Sometimes I will put some classical Mozart on, or Bach or Beethoven. I love, let me think. I know there's more. Let's see, foods. So we talked about avocado, and we talked about junk food that I like, which I really shouldn't eat, but I can't help it because ice cream is bliss. I love, so here's sometimes food reminds you of things that you love. I love lima beans, because when I was a kid, my grandfather had a garden, and I associate that garden with him, and we would always go in there and pick lima beans and then have big lima bean meals, and I loved it. So I love lima beans. I know, weird. It is a little bit of a weird food. I mean, lima beans and ice cream is weird, but I never said that I was completely normal. I said that I'm trying to teach you how to be happy and how to think happy thoughts. The other thing about dancing, so to keep in shape, I love Zumba. Yeah, I love Zumba. I could go to a Zumba class every single day, especially with my friend Ty. My friend Ty teaches, and I love Ty, and I love Zumba with Ty. That's my favorite thing to do at the gym. I do like yoga. I like yoga for its relaxation techniques, and I am going to show you some of those later. I do like that, but I really like Zumba because it feels like you're at a party. Okay, so here's what I've done so far. See, I just put different colors on each star point, and now I'm going to write in the middle of it, and then I'm just going to keep this next to my stuff that I made. I have the kids' handprints next to my stuff, and then I have the dog print now next to some of my stuff in my bedroom, because that's also a place that I go to try not to think about anything else. Sometimes you just need to go and relax and not think about everything else in your life. You need a sanctuary place, a place of quiet and a place of peace. So I hope that Sato does exactly that for you, that all of the measurement skills that you got are wonderful, but the relaxation and the meditation of making dough and then painting it for artwork and an expression of your creativity makes it a good lesson for you. So Science in the Kitchen, and we will talk about water doughs tomorrow. Bye. Hey, boys and girls. So we baked our salt dough, and so I have this nice hard star again. Look very closely at the texture. So now it's nice and hard. Obviously, it's not dough anymore. So I baked it in the oven at 200 for about 30 minutes. I kept checking it. So what we're going to do now is some art. Now, here's the thing. I have taught a lot of things in my life. Art is not one of them. I am not an art teacher. Mrs. Bevilacqua is the most wonderful, most fabulous art teacher in the entire world. However, I am not. So I am going to do my own version of art on my star here. But what I'm going to talk to you more while I'm doing that is about why art is important in your life. So like I said earlier, we need to all be finding things that bring us joy in our life. There needs to be things that we have and that we love and that we like that bring us happiness. So life is rough. It is. It's hard sometimes. And we need to find ways of dealing with that. So when I taught Club 21, I taught Mind Up. Anybody remember that? Yeah. So in Mind Up, the idea is that you want to replace not all the negative thoughts, but like the bad things that happen to you, you want to try to replace them with some positive thoughts. So one way to do that is art. It is a proven fact that schools that have art and music education do better. Kids do better if they have ways to express themselves. It's a way of getting out your creativity. It's also a way of you figuring out what you love and what you value. It gives us a way to express ourselves in a positive way. So instead of acting out, there's those people that go and they go right to their drawing books and they draw and they doodle, and there are coloring books now. Oh, I love some coloring books. I still love coloring books that are really healthy. So those are all things that you can do that are actually super, super healthy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint, and then I'm going to talk to you about what I love best. So that's one thing I want you to start practicing. That's one thing we practiced in Mind Up before is what makes you happy. And you have to know what makes you happy. So I do have a few things. First, I love to be with my family. Like I still am very, very close to my sister. I like to go places with my sister and my husband, and we like to do different things like I have a very specific like bucket list of things I like to do. I would like to, one thing I would love to do before the summer ends this time is go on like a waterfall tour. So I love water. That's one thing. I love water. I love the beach. I love lakes. I love being around, especially running waters. Like I really love rivers and streams and waterfalls. So one thing I would really love to do is go on a waterfall tour. Apparently in our area there are several, which I did not know. So, these are the things that I've been looking up and reading while we've been off. So I would like to go on a waterfall tour. Water definitely makes me happy. And I have to say, anybody who knows me knows my dogs. I love my dogs. I love hanging out with my dogs. I love just sitting with my dogs. My dog is sitting right now by the window just staring at me because she's not used to being outside by herself because I sit out there all the time and usually work from out there. But I love my dogs. I love doing craft projects, not necessarily like this one. I like doing things for my house, like